Hello everybody and welcome back. In today's video we got a couple things to discuss. So we got another game review recap to discuss here today. We're going to be discussing all the games that happened over the weekend on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and looking ahead to the games that are going to be happening on Tuesday and Wednesday today, plus looking at a quick look at the standings. So it's all that coming up right now. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here at the NHL Hockey Channel. Before we get into this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. We are so close to 200 subscribers. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do it without you guys, so don't forget to subscribe. But we're going to start today's video off by doing a couple of game review recap, another game review video here from the past couple of days. There's been a lot of interesting games over the past couple of days. We had 12 games happen on Saturday, there were 8 games on Sunday, and there were 4 games on Monday, so we'll get to the 12 games that happened on Saturday here first. We started off with the Bruins taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Really good game. The Bruins were able to get out to an early 3-0 lead. The Coyotes would score a couple of goals, make it a 1-goal game at one point. And then the Bruins were able to make it a 4-2 game. The Arizona Coyotes once again made a 1-goal game, making it 4-3. But then the Bruins would get an empty net goal and seal the deal, and they would wind up winning this one 5-3. So it was a really resilient effort from the Arizona Coyotes against one of the better teams in the league, but their losing streak does continue, and they do fall to the Bruins 5-3. Bruins improved to 18-5-3. Coyotes drop to 13-11-2. So not great stuff there from Arizona, who falls again, but a really good game there from Boston. Pasternak had a 3-point with 2 goals and an assist. Frederick had 2 assists, and Coyle, Heinen, and Shattenkirk also scored for the Bruins in the win, while Keller, Carcioni, and Krause were 3 goal scorers for the Coyotes in the loss. So not great stuff there from the Arizona Coyotes. They've lost back-to-back games now, not overly great. We'll get to them again as they've played another game since then, but still really bad stuff there from the Coyotes as they fall to the Boston Bruins. For the Bruins, who had not been playing overly well the past little while, it was definitely a win that should have been a really easy win for them, but they definitely made it interesting. So interesting stuff there from the Bruins. They do come away with the victory, which is good, but it wasn't a guaranteed victory, and they did have to work for this one. So really good stuff there for the Bruins, who get another win and improve their lead in the Atlantic, while Coyotes do fall a little bit with their loss. Then we saw the Knights and the Stars play for the 3rd time this year. It was a really good game between the Knights and the Stars. The first 2 games between these 2 teams this season were really close games. Knights won both times in extra time, so we thought that this would be another Knights win, and boy was it a Knights win, but it was not an extra time. Knights absolutely blew out the Dallas Stars 6-1, an absolute destroyment of a game. They scored 3 goals, then the Stars would make it, I think, a 3-1 game. Then this goal here from Nick Waugh made it 4-1 when World Cup's Curtis Sportsnet. That basically put this game to bed. They would score a couple more goals later in the game, and it was a destroyment game for the Vegas Golden Knights, as they absolutely destroyed the Dallas Stars 6-1. So a very fantastic win for Vegas to continue to prove that they're one of the better teams in the Western Conference. They improved to 18-5-5, and they became the first team to reach the 40-point plateau this year, while Dallas dropped to 15-8-3. So really interesting stuff there. For Vegas, Whitecloud, Stone, Roy, and Cotter all had a goal and an assist, and Dorofiev and Stevenson also scored for the Knights in the win, while Adonov was a lone goal scorer for the Stars in the loss. So not a great game there from the Stars. Definitely not like they did last week. Last week on Saturday they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 8-1. So this is a very, very heavily hard beatdown for the Dallas Stars, and a game they probably want back, but definitely really great game there from the Golden Knights, and something that they really wanted to have. So Knights beat the Stars to continue their show of dominance in the Western Conference, while the Stars lose and they drop in the standings, falling behind a little bit to Colorado and Winnipeg. So interesting stuff there. Then we saw New Jersey Devils come back after giving up the first goal, score 3 straight goals, and hold on for a 4-2 victory over the Calgary Flames. Really good stuff there. It was a really close game, but the Devils were able to hold on for the victory. They improved to 14-10-1. I think at that point they won like 3 or 4 in a row, and the Flames lost, dropping themselves to 11-13-3. So not great game there from the Flames, who definitely had a 1-0 lead in the second, could have held on to it, but they gave up 3 straight goals, never really able to come back from that. So not great stuff there from Calgary, but the Devils look a lot better, and this looks like the Devils team I was expecting to win the President's Trophy this year. So really good stuff there from the Devils. Hischier scored twice, Brett had a goal and an assist, and Holtz also scored for the Devils in the win, while Sharangovich against his former team and Kadri were the 2 goal scorers for the Calgary Flames in the loss. So not great game there from Calgary. Definitely looked like they were the outclassed team in this one, and even without Hamilton, the Devils are actually starting to win quite a few games. So good stuff there from the Devils, as they're showing some resiliency without their top defenseman, and they're looking a lot better than they were earlier in the season. So Devils climb up the Metro standings and improved to 14-10-1, while the Flames dropped down to 2 games below 500. Then we saw the Toronto Maple Leafs shut out the Nashville Predators 4-0. Their point streak improved to 5 games, and they improved to 14-6-4, while the Predators dropped to 14-13-0. So Predators still hovering around the the 500 mark, not completely below 500, but the 3-game winning streak does come to an end, so not great stuff there from the Predators. Leafs continue to get points. They continue to climb the standings. I think they're now in the top 3 of the Atlantic Division again, so they're looking fantastic, and once again, the Leafs look really good in the regular season. For the Leafs, Matthews scored twice, Nylander had 2 assists, Gregor and Kampf also scored, while Samsonov stopped all 18 shots he faced in the shutout victory for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So a very fantastic win there for Toronto. They look fantastic. They've looked absolutely phenomenal all season, and this was another fantastic win. Samsonov was good, with Walt being there right now due to injury. Matthews scored a couple of goals, continues to produce really well. The fourth line did really well, and this was a fantastic Leafs win over the Nashville Predators. So really good stuff there from Toronto, who keeps their point streak going. Then we saw the Washington Capitals shout the New York Rangers 4-0. The Capitals, who are still in the midst of a race with teams like Philly, New York Islanders, Carolina, New Jersey for playoff spots, are able to get a huge win and end their losing streak, as they had lost a couple of really big games over the past week. So they were able to get a huge, important 4-0 victory over the Rangers to improve to 13-8-3, dropping the New York Rangers to 18-6-1. So really good stuff there from the Capitals. This was one of their more complete games. And once again, Charlie Lindgren was absolutely fantastic for the Washington Capitals. Not a great game there from the Rangers, who have now lost, I think, back-to-back games in really bad fashion. For the Washington Capitals, Milano, Mantha, Wilson, and Abu-Kubel were the 4 goal scorers, and Lindgren stopped all 31 shots he faced in the victory. So really good stuff there for Lindgren to get a shutout, stop all 31 shots he faced. He was a fantastic player in this game for the Washington Capitals. For the Rangers, not great stuff there, and they could have definitely done a little bit better. But definitely, Lindgren shut the door, and this team did not do overly well in this game. So Rangers drop, their lead in the Metro Division shrinks a tiny bit, while the Capitals keep pace with some of these other Metro teams for top 3 in the Metro Division. Then we saw the Montreal Canadiens blow a 2-0 lead. Sabres came back, tied it, put it to a shootout, but the Montreal Canadiens were able to win 3-2 in a shootout. These two teams were both under 500, but the Canadiens with the win get to 500 at 12-12-3, while the Sabres get a point in their second straight game. However, they do fall to 11-14-3. So not great stuff there from the Sabres. This was a winnable game. They came back in this game. They could have won this one to get themselves only 2 games below 500, but it is what it is, and they do come away with a very narrow shootout loss. But really good stuff there from Montreal, who continue to hover around the 500 mark. For the Montreal Canadiens, Suzuki and Jaden Struble, who scored his first career NHL goal, were 2 goal scorers in regulation, while Slavkovsky, Alonin, and Caulfield were 3 goal scorers in the shootout in the win for the Canadiens, while Pozo and Skinner were 2 regulation goal scorers, and Olofsson and Power were 2 shootout goal scorers in the loss for the Buffalo Sabres. Not great stuff there from Buffalo. Definitely interesting stuff there, but it was a loss to Montreal Canadiens, who do wind up getting a huge win and are back up to 500. So really good stuff there from the Montreal Canadiens. Then, in a really heated battle between two teams who are looking to try and get back into the playoff spots this year, the Ottawa Senators were able to destroy the Detroit Red Wings 5-1. This was a very complete game from the Ottawa Senators. They looked fantastic from the jump, and they looked absolutely great. Sens improved to 11-11-0, while the Red Wings dropped to 14-4. So Red Wings still have a pretty solid lead in their conference. They're still in the playoff spots, but the Sens are now back up to 500, hoping to get back above 500 in the near future. So really good stuff there from the Senators. Tarasenko and Giroux both had a goal and assist. Chikrin had 2 assists, and Stützle, Kubalik, and Sanderson also scored for the Sens in the win. Well, Patrick Kane scored his first career goal in Detroit. So it was a very fantastic goal for Kane. It was a really good moment for him. It tied the game at that point, I think. But definitely, it was a Sens win, and this was an absolutely dominant performance from the Ottawa Senators. So really good stuff there to get back up to 500. Then we saw the New York Islanders come back from down 2-0 to end the LA Kings road winning streak. Their road winning streak, which had been 11 straight to start the season, wound up losing in overtime. The Islanders came back to win 3-2 in overtime thanks to this goal here from Jean-Gabriel Pageau in overtime, would help beat the LA Kings 3-2. So a really good win there for the Islanders to improve to 12-7-7, dropping the LA Kings to 16-4-4. So really good stuff there from the Islanders, who continue to get points. They're able to be resilient and come back from down 2-0. Not a great game there from the Kings, but given the fact they won 11 straight on the road to start the season, they were bound to lose a game here or there, and at least they were able to get a point out of this one. For the Islanders, Lee scored twice, while Jean-Gabriel Pageau had the OT winner for the Islanders in the win, while Fiala had 2 assists, and Gabriel and Kempe were 2 goal scorers for the Kings in the loss. So not great stuff there from the LA Kings, and could have definitely done a lot better, but really good stuff there from the Islanders, who had a very fantastic game to come back from down 2-0 to win this game and improve in the Metro standings. Then we saw the Blackhawks start off really well in this game and hold on for a 3-1 victory over the St. Louis Blues. Really good stuff there from the Blackhawks, who extended their point streak At that point, they were 2-0-1 in their last 3 games, so the Blackhawks have been doing a lot better. So the team who's not done overly well this year was able to get a little bit of a point streak going, so that's really good stuff there from the Blackhawks. Meanwhile, for the St. Louis Blues, they've lost 3 straight, and they're back down to 500, 13-13-1. So this was not a great game there from the Blues, and they continue to fall. Well, the Blackhawks, this was one of the more complete efforts of the season, and a really good one at that. The Blackhawks were able to get 2 assists from Nikita Zaitsev, and then Vlasic Buville, his first as a member of the Blackhawks after their trade from Vancouver, and Dickinson were 3 goal scorers in the win, while Sundqvist was the lone goal scorer for the Blues in the loss. It's not great stuff there from the Blues, and definitely a game I think they could have easily had, especially against one of the lower teams in the league, but an important win for the Blackhawks, who keep their point streak going, and for a time being look like they're a really good team. So really good stuff there from the Blackhawks, but the Blues are starting to come down to earth a little bit and not winning so many games as of late. The Philadelphia Flyers, they don't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. They absolutely destroyed the Colorado Avalanche 5-2 to improve to 15-10-2 on the season, dropping the Avalanche to 16-9-2. So Stars don't really lose too much ground after losing to Vegas earlier, because the Avalanche do lose too. So really good news for the Stars, but for the Avalanche, that was a really bad loss to the Philadelphia Flyers. It was a winnable game, but the Flyers put away in the second and the third period to really put this game to bed to get a huge victory as they continue to climb the Metro Division standings. I don't think there's any stopping them at this point in time. The Flyers continue to push and get more points and more points. Philadelphia looks fantastic right now as the top 3 team in the Metro Division, while the Avalanche drop, but they're still doing pretty good in the top 2 spot in the Central too. Konechny scored twice, Tippett and Sanheim both had a goal and an assist, Brink had 2 assists, and Fairby also scored for Flyers in the win, while Manson had a goal and an assist, and McKinnon also scored for the Avalanche in the loss. So it's like I said, not a great game there from the Avalanche, but they still remain as a top team in the Central Division, while the Flyers surprisingly are still now in the top 3 of the Metro Division. So it'll be interesting to see how those teams do, but this was a fantastic one for the Flyers, and not a great game there from the Avalanche. Then we saw 2 other games. The Tampa Bay Lightning, in a back-and-forth game, they blew a 2-goal lead. Kraken would come back to take a 3-2 lead. They would tie it, send it to overtime, where they would recover their lead and win in overtime. So it was a really hectic game for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they nearly lost yet another one to get back down to 500, but they recovered, and they won in overtime 4-3 to improve to 13-11-5. So really good stuff there for Tampa, while Seattle loses their 7th straight and dropped to 8-13-7. So they at least get a point out of this one, but this was not a great game there from the Kraken, who dug themselves in a 2-0 hole early and couldn't hold to a 3-2 lead. So really bad game there from the Kraken, but the Bolts showed their resiliency and are able to avoid dropping down to back to 500 in this game. For Tampa, Kucherov had another solid game with a 3-point night, 2 goals including the OT winner and an assist. Cirelli had a goal and an assist. Hagel had 2 assists, and Paul also scored for the Bolts in the win. Well, for the Kraken, Eberle had 2 assists, and McCann, Bjorkstrand, and Alexiak were the 3 goal scorers for the Kraken in the OT loss, as they dropped just 8-13-7 on the season. So it was not a great game there from the Kraken, who drop and fall to now a 7-game losing streak, a really bad losing streak, and they fall even further below this playoff line, while the Bolts are able to keep pace with some of the other teams for a playoff spot. And then we saw the Vancouver Canucks blow a 2-goal lead as the Canes would come back, tied in the third period at 3-3, but score a third period goal right after the Canes tied it to make it a 4-3 game, and they were able to escape with a 4-3 victory over Carolina. Canucks improved to 18-9-1, while the Carolina Hurricanes dropped to 14-12-1. So really good stuff there from Vancouver, who showed they were able to still win after giving up a 2-goal lead. So really good stuff there from Vancouver, who continue to climb the Pacific, while the Carolina Hurricanes continue to fall in the Metro Division, while teams like the Islanders, the Capitals, and the Flyers continue to win. So really bad stuff there for the Carolina Hurricanes. Canucks were able to get 3 points from Pettersson with a goal and 2 assists, including the game winner. Lafferty and McKay both had a goal and an assist, and Miller also scored for the Canucks in the win, while Shea, Nosen, and Martinook were 3 goal scorers for the Carolina Hurricanes in the loss. So not a great game there from the Carolina Hurricanes. They were able to come back, tie it, but then they gave up a game-winning goal quickly afterwards. So not a great game there from the Carolina Hurricanes, to continue to fall and had a really bad Western Canadian road swing. But definitely, it was a really good game there from the Vancouver Canucks, who continue to show they should be a top 3 team in the Pacific Division. Those were all the 12 games on Saturday, so we'll have interesting games over the weekend. Now we'll go over to the 8 games that were played on Sunday, starting with the Florida Panthers and Columbus Blue Jackets. The Panthers were able to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-2. Panthers started out this game really good. They were able to go to 2-1 lead, and in the third period, they would pull away and beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-2. So another great game there from the Panthers, who continue to be a top 3 team in the Atlantic. All the Jackets aren't able to compete with the Panthers on this night, and they fall to, once again, really far below 500 and really far out of a playoff spot. The Panthers, with the win, improved to 17-2. Jackets dropped to 9-16-5. So really bad stuff there for the Jackets. For the Panthers, Reinhart had 4 assists. Barkov had 3.0 with a goal and 2 assists. Forsling had a goal and an assist, and Louis Sherinian, Verhaeghe, and Kachuk also scored for the Panthers in the win, while Voronkov and Chinakhov were 2 goal scorers for the Jackets Jackets and lost. So like I said, not great game there from the Jackets, and the Panthers are able to escape with a huge victory, as they're now only 3 back of the Atlantic Division leading Boston Bruins. So really good stuff there for the Florida Panthers. Then we saw the Edmonton Oilers beat the New Jersey Devils 4-1. This was a really good game there from the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers were able to get their 7th straight win and are now back at 500. So the Oilers look like they're definitely back. They improved to 12-12-1 and are back up to 500 after a 4-1 victory over the New Jersey Devils. This wasn't a bad game from the Devils, but one where they couldn't find any offense in this game, and the red hot Oilers were able to shut down the Devils, who dropped to 14-11-1 on the season. So not great stuff there for the Devils. This was a really good game there for the Oilers, including this goal here from Connor McDavid, which basically put this game to bed. This was the 3rd goal of the game for the Oilers, giving them a 3-0 lead. The Edmonton Oilers who win and improve to 12-12-1 with the 4-1 victory. So really good game there, and good goal for McDavid that really put this game to bed. Kane and McDavid both had a goal and an assist, and Ryan and Bouchard both also scored for the Oilers in the win, while Bratt was the lone goal scorer for the Devils in the loss as he dropped to 14-11-1. So like I said, not a great in there from the Devils, who fall in the Metro standings, but a really good win there for the Edmonton Oilers to get back up to 500, and they're now not too far out of a playoff spot. So interesting stuff there for Edmonton. Then we saw the Washington Capitals beat the Chicago Blackhawks 4-2. It was a decent game there from the Hawks, but the Capitals would score 4 unanswered after giving up the first goal to beat the Blackhawks, improved to 14-3. They're back up to 6 games above 500. So after a really sour stretch last week, so back-to-back wins for the Capitals, really good stuff there. Well, the Hawks, point streak comes to an end and dropped them to 9-17-1. So not great stuff there for the Blackhawks. Dowd scored twice, Melanstein had 2 assists, and Stroman and Mathabos also scored for the Caps in the win. Well, Kershiv had a goal and an assist, and Bedard had 2 assists, and Murphy also scored for the Blackhawks in the loss. So not a great game there from the Blackhawks, but the Caps continue to climb the Metro standings with a huge win over the Blackhawks. Then we saw the Nashville Predators edge out the Montreal Canadiens 2-1 the day after being shut out by the Toronto Maple Leafs. So a really good win there for the Nashville Predators. It was a really close, narrow victory for the Nashville Predators over the Montreal Canadiens. And it was a really good win for them there. The Predators improved to 15-13-0, so they're back to 2 games above 500, while the Canadiens dropped to 12-13-3, so they're back down to below 500. So not overly surprising there. For the Nashville Predators, Sitchin scored twice, and Yossi had 2 assists for Preds in the win, while Evans was the lone goal scorer for the Canadiens in the loss. So like I said, really low scoring game, really close, tightly contested affair, but the Preds are able to keep above 500 now by 2 games with a huge win, while the Canadiens dropped down to below 500 with the loss. So really bad stuff there for the Canadiens. Then we saw the New York Rangers beat the LA Kings 4-1 with Jonathan Quick being his old team for the first time in his career after he was traded last year at the trade deadline. The Rangers improved to 19-6-1. Kings dropped to 16-5-4. So a really fantastic game there from the Rangers, and the Kings have now lost back-to-back games, which isn't overly fantastic. Trocheck had a 3-assist night. Brodzinski had a goal and an assist, including this goal here, which was the 3rd of the game. Basically put this game to bed for New York Rangers, and it was a fantastic goal. So really good stuff there from Brodzinski to have a 2-point night with a goal and an assist. And then VC, Cooley, and Zibanejad also scored for the Rangers in the win, while Dano was the lone goal scorer for the Kings in the loss. So Kings continue to have ups and downs this year, but they're still a really good team in the Pacific Division. Like I said before, this could be a potential Stanley Cup final preview, so really good stuff there from both these teams. Well, for the Rangers, it was a huge win as they improved to only 1 point below 40 points and have a massive lead in the Metro Division, so really good stuff there. Then we saw the Winnipeg Jets come back from down 2-0 to score 4 unanswered goals and beat the Anaheim Ducks 4-2. A huge win for the Winnipeg Jets to improve to 16-2, while the Ducks have now lost 11 of 12 and are down to 10-17-0. So Ducks have really dropped back down to earth after winning 6 in a row. Meanwhile, for the Winnipeg Jets, a really good win, and for the time being, this put them at the top end of the Central Division. The Winnipeg Jets, for the time being, after this game, had been leading the Central Division. So very fantastic stuff there for Winnipeg, who is keeping pace with Dallas and Colorado right now for top spots in the Central Division. For the Winnipeg Jets, Morrissey had 2 assists. Velarde, first as a member of the Winnipeg Jets, Baron, Scheifele, right over 4 goal scorers in the win, while Henrik and Killorn were 2 goal scorers for the Ducks in the loss. So not a great game there from Anaheim. They had a lead, they could have held on to this lead, but they wound up blowing it and lose yet again. Well, for the Jets, a very fantastic game as they keep at pace with Dallas and Colorado for top spot in the Central. Then we saw the Minnesota Wild play the Seattle Kraken, 2 teams who had been losing a lot recently. And the Minnesota Wild were able to get back to their winning ways. After back-to-back losses, they were able to shut down the Seattle Kraken's offense and beat them 3-0. Wild improved to 10-12-4, while the Kraken dropped to 8-14-7 and have now lost 8 straight. So not great stuff there from the Kraken. who continue to fall even further out of a playoff spot, while for the Minnesota Wild, a huge win there to get themselves back up to double-digit wins at 10, 12, and 4, so they're not too far back of 500 again. For the Wild, Boldy, Eriksson, and Rossi were 3 goal scorers, and Gustafsson stopped all 24 shots he faced in the shutout and the victory for the Wild. So really good stuff there from the Wild as they continue to do fairly well over the past little while, but a really bad loss there for the Kraken. And then the San Jose Sharks once again had a fantastic comeback. They were down 4-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights in the third period. They scored 2 late goals, including one with the goalie pulled to make it a 4-4 game. Went to extra time, but instead of the Sharks winning in overtime like they had the past couple of games, the Vegas Golden Knights were able to come away with a shootout victory over the San Jose Sharks. It's a very fantastic win for Golden Knights to avoid losing to the San Jose Sharks after leading 4-2, so really good stuff there. Knights are up to 19-5-5, and they're very close to becoming the first team to hit the 20-win mark, so Vegas is doing absolutely phenomenal so far this year. Marchessault scored twice in this game. Stevenson had a goal and assist. McNabb also scored in regulation, while Eichel and Marchessault were 2 goal scorers in the shootout. Now for San Jose Sharks, Hoffman scored twice, Granlund had 2 assists, and Ferraro and Addison, first as a member of the San Jose Sharks, also scored in the shootout loss for the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks dropped in this game to 8-17-3, so they're not doing overly bad since their incredibly bad start to the season, but they're still not at where they want to be. But still, a really good win there for the Vegas Golden Knights after blowing a 4-2 lead. They're able to be a resilient team, and they get a huge win. Well, it sounds like the Sharks lose, and even though they continue with their point streak, they do fall a little bit farther down the standings, so not great stuff there for San Jose Sharks. Those were the 8 games that happened on Sunday. Now going over to the 4 games that happened yesterday on Monday. The Buffalo Sabres were able to beat the Arizona Coyotes 5-2. They were able to get up to a 4-1 lead, I think, at one point, and they held on for a 5-2 victory. Really good stuff there for the Buffalo Sabres to improve 12-14-3. They're now on a 3-game point streak, while the Coyotes have dropped their 3rd straight and are down to 13-12-2, so really bad stuff there from the Coyotes. For the Sabres, Eric Robinson had a 3-point night with a goal and 2 assists, so did Kyle Pozo. Robinson, that was his first goal as a member of the Buffalo Sabres, so that was really good stuff there. Aline had a goal and 8 assists, Clifton had 2 assists, and Krebs and Paterka also scored for the Sabres in the win, while Kesselring had his first career NHL goal with a member of the Arizona Coyotes, and Carcioni were the 2 goal scorers for the Coyotes in the loss. So not a great game there from the Coyotes. Definitely a game that I think was winnable for them, but they find a way to lose. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Sabres are now only 2 games back of 500, and they're not looking overly bad at this point in time. So really good stuff there for Buffalo. Then we saw the Toronto Maple Leafs wound up tying the game late thanks to this goal here from Morgan Rielly, but more importantly, this was the 2nd point of the game for John Tavares, who had an assist on this goal, and his career point number 1,000. Tavares hits point number 1,000 in this game, and against his former team, the New York Islanders. It was definitely the storyline you couldn't make up, but it was not enough to get them the win. The Isles would come back and beat them in overtime. So after blowing a late lead for the New York Islanders, they were able to get the OT winner, and the Isles wound up being the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-3 in overtime to improve to 13-7-7, dropping the Leafs to 14-6-5. So Leafs point streak continues, but it's another OT loss for them. Meanwhile, for the New York Islanders, now 6 games above 500, so really good stuff there for the Islanders. Dobson had 3 assists. Palmieri and Nelson both had a goal and 8 assists. And Cizikas and Horvat, the OT winner, were the other 2 goal scorers for the Isles in the win. While Tavares had a goal and 8 assists, which was point number 999 and point number 1,000 for him, so really good stuff there for Tavares. Nylander had 2 assists, and Matthews and Riley also scored for the Leafs in the OT loss. So really good game there, really competitive game. Really good to see Tavares hit point number 1,000 against the Islanders, but it's just not enough to help the Leafs win on the day. As the Isles overcame giving up their former teammate hit them thousands points against them, but they were able to get the win, so really good stuff there for the Islanders to continue to climb the Metro standings. Then we saw the Dallas Stars, after giving up the first goal, score 4 unanswered and wound up doubling up the Detroit Red Wings 6-3, a very good win there for the Dallas Stars. The Stars improved to 16-8-3, dropping the Red Wings to 14-4. The Red Wings have not done overly well over the past little while. Stars were able to get back on the winning side of things and have leapfrogged the Jets for the time being at that point for a top spot in the Central Division. Now, really good stuff there for Dallas. Heiskanen had 3-point night with 2 goals and 8 assists. Lindell and Robertson both had goal and 8 assists. Steele and Hintz both had 2 assists, and Pavelski and Duchesne both also scored for the Stars in a win. Over the Detroit Red Wings, Gostisbehere 2 assists, and Sprong, Berggren, and Veleno were 3 goal scorers for the Red Wings in the loss. So it was not a great game there from the Detroit Red Wings as they continue to lose. Not overly great stuff there for the Red Wings as they're on like a 3 or 4 game losing streak, if I'm correct. Meanwhile, for the Dallas Stars, really good win. They continue to climb in the Central standings. And then we saw the Calgary Flames blow a 5-3 lead in the 3rd period, gave up 3 consecutive 3rd period goals, including the game winner late in the game to the Colorado Avalanche, as the Avalanche would come back and beat the Calgary Flames 6-5 to improve to 17-9-2, dropping the Calgary Flames to 11-14-3. So the Flames are now 3 games below 500. Not a great game there from the Flames. They had a really good start to this game. They kept a couple of leads early on in this game, even into the third period, but they collapsed in the third period, and really bad stuff there for the Flames. Meanwhile, for the Avalanche, 17-2, one of the top teams in the Central Division, and they've retaken the lead for the Central Division, so really good stuff there for Colorado. For Colorado, Randy had 3.0 with a goal and 2 assists. Colin, McKinnon, and Makar all had a goal and an assist. Nichushkin had 2 assists, and then Tatar, first goal as a member of the Colorado Avalanche, and Myers both also scored for the Avalanche in the win, while Coleman and Kadri both had a goal and an assist. Gilbert had 2 assists, and Sharangovich, Zari, and Mangiapane were the other goal scorers for the Flames in the loss. So once again, not a great loss there for the Calgary Flames, who drop even further into the standings and now even farther back up below 500. But still, it was a really good win there for the Colorado Avalanche, who beat the Flames 6-5 and improved to 17-2 to continue to climb the standings. Really good win there for the Avalanche. So those are all the games from the past couple of days. Definitely a lot of interesting games. I'll go over to a quick game preview here for the next couple of days. We have 10 games today on Tuesday and 5 games tomorrow on Wednesday, which we'll touch on our next video on Thursday. For today, there are 3 games at 4 p.m. Pacific time. The Leafs take on the Rangers. Leafs trying to keep on their point streak. Rangers looking to avoid yet another loss. The Canes take on the Senators. Canes looking to end this losing streak they're on. Sens look to get back to above 500. Arizona Coyotes take on Pittsburgh Penguins. Coyotes look for yet another win against the former Stanley Cup champion, and look to end this losing streak at 3 games. Meanwhile, for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they look to get back up to 500 after falling down below 500 a little while ago. Then at 4:30, the Red Wings take on the Blues. Red Wings looking to avoid yet another loss, their 4th straight loss. They take on the St. Louis Blues team is also looking to avoid their 4th loss in a row and go back to below 500. At 5 p.m. Pacific time, we have the Flyers take on the Predators. Flyers looking for a win to improve themselves in the Metro. Predators looking for a win to get a little bit more farther ahead of the pack of the wildcard teams in the Central. Then at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we have Blackhawks taking the Oilers. Hawks looking for your point again after losing to the Capitals on Sunday. Oilers looking for their 8th straight win, so that'll be interesting to see. Kraken look to avoid their 9th straight loss at 7 p.m. Pacific time, taking on the Florida Panthers, who are looking to climb the Atlantic Division standings on 7 p.m. Pacific time today. The Tampa Bay Lightning look to get yet another win, taking on the Vancouver Canucks, who are looking to close the gap between them and the Vegas Golden Knights for top in the Pacific Division. So that game also happens at 7 p.m. Pacific time. The Calgary Flames on the second half of a back-to-back look to close the gap between them and 500 mark, take on a Vegas Golden Knights team who's, I think, gone like 5-3 in their last 8 games. They look fantastic. So Knights look to get a win, especially after losing in overtime just a couple of weeks ago to the Calgary Flames. So that'll be an interesting game to see. And then at 7:30, the Jets take on the Sharks. Jets looking to keep pace with the Central Division teams and get back into top spot in the Central Division. Sharks once again looking to play spoiler and climb the standings a little bit, get out of the basement. So that'll be interesting to see. And then tomorrow there are 5 games of NHL action. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins on the second half of back-to-back taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Penguins could be looking to get back to above 500. Canadians are looking to get to 500 tomorrow. Then we see the Bruins take on the Devils. Devils looking to get back to winning ways after losing to Edmonton Oilers. Bruins looking to get back to a more secured, safe lead for the Atlantic Division lead. At 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, we have the Ducks take on the Islanders. Ducks looking to avoid their 12th loss in 13 games. Islanders looking to improve to yet another win and keep climbing this Metro Division standings right now. At 7 p.m. Pacific time, we have the Sabres take on the Avalanche. Avalanche looking to keep ahead of teams like the Jets and the Stars in the Central. Sabres looking to get even closer to 500. And then at 7:30, the Jets take on the Kings. Kings looking to keep pace with teams like the Canucks and the Knights in the Pacific. Jets looking to keep pace with teams like the Avs and the Stars in the Central. So those are the games that are going to be happening over the next 2 days. It'll be interesting to see how those games go. But now going over to a quick look at the standings as of December 12th, 2023. The Boston Bruins lead the Atlantic Division at 39 points, followed by 36-point Florida and 33-point Toronto. The 39-point New York Rangers lead the Metro Division, followed by 33-point New York Islanders and 32-point Philadelphia Flyers. The 2 wildcard teams are currently 32-point Detroit and 31-point Washington, with 31-point Tampa, 29-point New Jersey, 29-point Carolina, 27-point Montreal, 27-point Buffalo, 25-point Pittsburgh, 23-point Columbus, and 22-point Ottawa, all on the outside looking in. So it'll be interesting to see who winds up making the playoffs, as all these teams are doing really good right now. Meanwhile, in the Central Division, 36-point Colorado leads the Central with 35-point Dallas and 34-point Winnipeg following them. 43-point Vegas Golden Knights are top spot in the Pacific Division, followed by 37-point Vancouver and 36-point LA. The two wildcard teams with 30-point Nashville and 28-point Arizona, with 27-point St. Louis, 25-point Edmonton, 25-point Calgary, 24-point Minnesota, 23-point Seattle, 20-point Anaheim, 19 points Chicago, and 19 points San Jose on the outside looking in. So those are your standings as of right now. Lots of interesting stuff there. Definitely love to hear guys touch on all this down in the comment section. Are you surprised that the Arizona Coyotes and National Predators are in the playoffs? Are you surprised the Jets are contending for top spots in the Central Division? Are you surprised Vegas is the first team to 40 points? Are you surprised that the Panthers have narrowed the gap to only 3 points between them and the Boston Bruins? Are you surprised that the Islanders and the Flyers are two of the top teams in the Central Division right now? Definitely let me hear your guys' thoughts on the standings, plus which games are you most looking forward to over the next little while, and which games were you most excited about over the past 3 days. Game action, definitely. Let me hear your guys' thoughts on all of that down in the comment section. But that's what I'm going to talk about for today. Remember to like this video, and if you're really to subscribe down below. We're so close to 200 subscribers. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without you guys, so don't forget to subscribe. I also do a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so definitely check that out. I'll leave a link down in the description below, and I can't wait to see you guys all for our next video. See you guys soon.